everything did go according to plan, so you can watch the video now to see what I did. It looks pretty good. That's the corner of the garage I'm going to patch. And my critter blocker worked pretty good. I was looking for these, I call it a critter blocker, to keep the squirrels and chipmunks from crawling up the corners of your siding. But I did see some online, but they weren't available anymore. And they were little plastic inserts that you could just snap in. And I looked, I couldn't find anything that would block them. So if you have a source for some plastic critter blockers that are easier to put in, you're welcome to leave a comment and leave a note on where they're available from. Thanks. This is my big garage, and one thing I've been putting off for a long time is fixing this corner. After years of weed whacking the grass along the garage, it's gone through the corner a few times, the vinyl corner. So you can fix this by actually replacing a part of this corner or the entire corner. I'm going to do something a little different. I took this is actually some treated lumber. This came out of like a landscaping railroad tie that I had left over for years. So I just cut this up. And basically, let's look at this side here. It's 2 1/4 and 2 1/4 with a 1-inch notch cut out of one corner. And then I beveled a couple of the edges so that I can work that into this opening. Because this block, I'm trying to make it a little bit longer so it'll reach up about here inside this corner. And then I've got some more vinyl pieces that I'm going to reattach glue to the old vinyl to try and cover this up. This will do one of two things. Number one, it's going to reinforce the corner so that when you hit it with the weed whacker, that it's not going to beat its way through there. Hopefully it'll have some backup support. And the other thing is that on the other corners of my house, I actually saw a chipmunk, because normally this doesn't go all the way to the ground. So normally you'll be a little distance away, as much as, I don't know, maybe a foot off the ground. But I actually watched a chipmunk sitting here, and I spooked him, and he jumped up inside this corner because there's nothing covering this corner. The bottom of that corner is open to those dimensions, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 and about 1 inch square. And plenty of room for critters to run up inside. And depending on what you've done with your corner, it could get all the way up into your attic if it happens to be an opening up there. So anyway, that's what we're going to try and fix. I'm going to try and get this corner wedged in there and get it glued in. And twist that up into place. Kind of like that. So you get an idea of what I'm trying to accomplish there. And then, like I said, I've got some extra siding that I'm going to trim up and place on top of that to try and make it look pretty. So I'm going to take this back out and put some glue on it, although it almost doesn't seem like it needs any. So I'm going to use Liquid Nails Extreme Heavy Duty. This is all weather, all purpose, interior, external construction adhesive. And we're just going to put some of that in here. There we go. I'm going to spray a little brake cleaner on there to clean it up a little more, only because I got a lot of this stuff laying around. And I trim this up so it's just a flat piece. And I'm going to have to make some cuts and put some bends in this vinyl. And it looks like I'm probably going to take it all the way down here for planning purposes. I'm going to cut right here. I think I'll make my other piece just a little bit longer. Just using a little set of tin snips. I also have some scissors made for vinyl, but this works pretty well too. Well, it's not perfect, but it's going to be hopefully straight enough that it won't be too visible. And it's going to look a heck of a lot better than that. So I trimmed this edge off a little bit, so it's quite a bit smaller. It's a little bit thicker than a little bit longer than the thickness of this bend here. And so that's going to go right on here, like this. So you can see how nice that matches up here. And it's going to be all the way down here. Cover all that up. Now what I did was I did cut a little notch down here so it'll hang down just a little bit further. But first and then I cleaned this with some brake cleaner. Brake cleaner evaporates very fast, so, but I got to clean this. I got some fuzzies on here that don't look very good. You really wouldn't be able to see it, but I'll know it's there. So I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of sandpaper. Be right back. So I've got it cleaned off with some brake cleaner. I sanded the edges, beveled them a little bit, take off some of the burrs. I'll get my liquid nails put on here. And we'll put that on here. Hopefully we won't have to take it back off. All right, now I'm going to switch to the really ugly side and see if we can get something to stick on that side. This is a lot worse as far as being level and sticking out. This is actually sticking out a little bit. So I'm not sure if we're actually going to be able to get that to stay down. This is sticking out. So I'm going to trim a little piece off here. So I don't have to fight it too much. All right. There's less to leverage, but I did get it, so it looks pretty even, pretty short. Now this one here, I don't think I've got enough. So this piece wasn't going to be quite as wide enough to do what I wanted to wrap around and cover this up. So I went back to my parts bin, and we're going to start with another piece and cut this one off, basically start over, because that's got a natural hook on one end, and it goes up much longer if I go underneath the this fold. I can get a lot more straight edge here, and I can bend it over quite a bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece up and see if I can beat this into submission. So I've got it cut to length, and I've got the hook end done. I'll hook over on this side, and now I need to know where to put this other bend in. So for reference, I'm going to draw a line here on the back side. Let's see if I can use that to put a bend in here. All right, so I've got this end cut and bent over. Looks like it fits pretty good on this fresh section. I also have this bow in here I forgot to get rid of, so we're going to try and bow it back. So that snaps on there real nice. It actually goes over this one by about 1/4 of an inch. That's going to help hold this one on. I've got a couple high spots on here that I'm going to hit with a rasp. Knock off whatever glue I've got on there. All right, I'm gonna hit this with my belt sander, smooth bevel out some of these edges, and I think we're gonna be ready to clean it with a little brake cleaner and slap her on there. Well, the sun is starting to set, so we're getting a little bit of light condition here, but I threw a wheelbarrow here in front of us to block the sun, so we get so it looks kind of the same. Anyway, let's go ahead and gob this up, because I think we're ready to go. That's gobbed up. Got that nice at the right length. Just snap that on. Nice thing about this adhesive is the color matches the siding pretty well. All right, I think that's going to keep it on there until it dries, and we'll see what it looks like after that. This here is also some old weed whacker damage, so I'm going to go ahead and cover that up with a piece. And this won't be as hard as doing a wraparound on the corner. So here you can see the obvious holes that have been busted in here with a weed whacker. I don't know what else could have done it. There's also another one right here that's cracked. So these big black spots kind of catch your eye from a distance. So I'm going to go ahead and glue a patch on here. I got my piece here. I'm going to cut it off about up here. So I'm basically try to run it from about that edge to just shy of this radius here. I'm going to trim that off a little more. And I'll go hit that with the belt sander. Put a little bow in this thing. So I'm going to hit this with my brake cleaner. Got the edges sanded. They're actually a little bit straighter than when I cut them. Looks pretty good. My brake cleaner is gonna give the glue something to stick to. I got the edges beveled. Probably hard to see that here, but this will blend into the siding a little better, and also the rain will run off a little better. It's not perfect, but hey, it's better than nothing. So let's put a little caulk on here. Let's put some of this liquid nails on here. Squeeze it on there. There's my little crack right there. So we're going to put it right about here and stick that on there. Oh, that's pretty nice. Actually didn't get anything to ooze out. Dang, that looks pretty good. There's a little better view of it from the side. It turned out better than I expected. A little back padding to go on. All right, that fixes that patch. All right, this is an old patch job that I did on this corner, and I'm going to go ahead and put some of that liquid nails adhesive in here just to plug this gap. It looks like it's hanging on there pretty good, and it was just a short corner that I did, so I bent over a piece of old siding and just wrap that around there so it doesn't look too bad, even though the grain's going in the wrong direction. Anyway, the reason I'm here is this is the corner that I watched the chipmunk. As I was walking up to it, the chipmunk was sitting here and it jumped up inside this gap, which, as I explained before, is about this big in there. So when I cut the filler to actually repair the siding on the garage, I cut it about, it's about 20 inches long, 20-inch long piece. And I cut off the piece I needed, used that on the other garage, and now I just need a little piece I'm going to try and get in here. So it looks like it's going to be the same size, and this one here I'm only going to cut off as long as I need to get it shoved up in there. So it only needs to be, even an inch or an inch and a half. So I'll go ahead and chop this off, and then we're going to glue it up and shove it in there. All right, so as a reminder, each side is 2 1/4, and this is a 1x1 notch cut out of here, and that's the size that I cut this this board to. So I've got these edges beveled off a little bit, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to shove up in there. Those wind chimes are lovely. But anyway, I didn't bevel this edge because it's a little tough to get in there with the belt sander, so I'm going to try it without it. Hopefully it doesn't catch on anything. So I get shoved up in here, and it looks like it's going to go in there. I can feel little broken pieces of siding in here, and there's some glue that's sticking out in this gap. But I think this is the right size. At least I should be big enough to stop the critters. So let's get a little glue on it. Maybe that'll be a little bit of lubrication. It's like frosting on my cupcake. There we go. It's caught on something. Ugh. All right, so I just shoved it up there. It's actually up there probably about 1/2 inch, a little further than I wanted to go, but that's okay. So it's been about 12-14 hours since I put the glue on there and put the patch on there. I pulled the clamps off this morning, and that's what it looks like. Looks like it's got a little kink in it, but like I said, it's better than what it was. And this one I just pulled the tape off. I did put a piece of tape on there for overnight, and that looks really good. All right, so that's how I patched that corner on my garage, and put a little critter blocker in there, and put the other blocker right over here on my left shoulder. That went pretty well. I probably got a couple more critter blockers I'm going to put in, but I'm running out of daylight. It's getting a little chilly out here. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If you got any comments on what I did wrong, because this isn't the right way to do it, I'm sure, leave me a comment. Glad to listen to you.